I'm talking about waking up. Your routine is different. You're different. And I think with the luminaries, there's something like profound banality because when I get up and walk my dogs every morning, I'm not thinking, wow, it's so profound to be in a human body. And I can blah, blah, blah. I'm just like doing my thing. So what these eclipses are ushering in is like the total transformation of doing your thing.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Astrologer Connect, your premier source for quality astrology readings.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to your weekly astrological weather. I am so happy that you've decided to join us this week and get the read on the astrological energies of the week ahead. I am also excited to let you know, if you haven't already heard, that we are in the thick of our reading bonanza month here at Astrology Hub. Astrologer Connect is our new reading platform, and we're doing the grand opening of it this month. And so now through the end of April, you can book a reading with any of our amazing astrologers for 20% off. So we do have a discount code for you, and you can select the astrologer that you want to have a reading with. Any readings booked in April can get the 20% off, and then you can have your reading whenever it works for your schedule, but you need to book your reading this month. And I'm very excited to have Clarissa Dolphin here. She is a harmonic astrologer and also an astrologer that works on our Astrologer Connect platform. She is the one astrologer we have right now who also can do readings in Spanish. So for any of you who would prefer to have your reading done in Spanish, Clarissa is your girl. And Clarissa, thank you so much for being here. Just a little bit more about her. She's a certified astrologer, shamanic healer, tarot diviner, Reiki master, and a writer based in Los Angeles. She has been cited as an astrological expert in the New York Times. Her work has been featured in various publications, including The Career Astrologer, Dirty Laundry, White Hot, Broccoli City, Notion, and Faint. And she is now the newly elected president of ISAR, the International Society of Astrological Research, which is a huge honor. And Clarissa, we're just so happy that you're a part of our community, that you're working on our Astrologer Connect platform, and that you're here for the weekly weather. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. The honor really is all mine. I've been excited about this for weeks, and I hope my heart doesn't explode during this episode.
Awesome. All right. Well, so we're covering the astrology of April 17th to April 23rd. Oh, before we dive in, if you're interested in getting a reading or booking a reading during our reading bonanza month, you can go to astrologyhub.com/connect and check it out there. You'll get the discount code right there on the page. So you can head on over there whenever you're ready. astrologyhub.com/connect. All right. So Clarissa, give us the lay of the land. What's the theme for the week? What's the major energy that we're going to be working with?
Well, this week is spectacular. So, in terms of like major themes, we're dealing with passion, really ardent passion. I mean, like crazy, kind of like dream come true level of entering reality. Like it's actually crazy. Talking about like April reading bonanza for Astrologer Connect. This is like life bonanza in terms of things like transforming and manifesting that maybe you really in the past and you hoped would happen. So that's
Wow.
one thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. It's not every day that you hear astrologers say something like that so strongly. I know you're going to go into the astrology of why you're saying that. Do you want to give us another like sub theme first and then we'll go into the astrology?
I would love to give another sub theme. Another sub theme about this is relationships. So, relationship dynamics are going to be extremely transformational. This is a week where it's like soulmate week, like literally new people, old people, lucky breaks just from interacting, but also very, very deep core transformation in interrelationships, how you interrelate, how people relate with you. So that's like super huge.
Wow. Okay. Tell us about the astrology of this. What is happening?
All right. So there's actually so much going on this week. So I'm going to do like just a quick breakdown day by day of just, like the most major stuff. And then when we do the day by day, I'll go into like the more nitty gritty, like nuance, the harmonics, etc. So on Wednesday, we've got Wednesday the 19th, we've got Uranus sextile Venus. And we also, that same day, we have a solar eclipse in Aries, the first of our Aries Libra eclipse cycle that lasts for about 2 years. So that's obviously a big deal just on that day alone. The following day, on Thursday, April 20th, we've got the sun entering into Taurus. That's another pivotal shift. And that same day, we have the sun square Pluto. And then on Friday, the 21st, Mercury stations retrograde until May 14th. And then we've got other like crazy midpoint things happening and all the harmonics, but those are the major things. So pretty much from like Wednesday through Friday, like every day is like new vortex of reality or something. It's a huge week.
Clarissa, you practice harmonic astrology, which a lot of our audience is familiar with. I know there's a lot who are not familiar with it. Are you getting your read of passion, dream come true, like entering this level where things that we've been really wanting to have happen, they're actually going to be happening or starting to happen this week? Are you getting that more from the harmonics that you're looking at or from the more traditional astrological interpretations?
The harmonics, Amanda.
Okay. So tell us what harmonic astrology is really quickly. I know we've had you come talk about this before, but tell us about what it is, like as briefly as you can, and then tell us what you're seeing this week.
Okay, I'd love to do that. So in terms of what harmonic astrology is, it's very futuristic. It's in complete alignment with quantum physics tenets and tenets in music theory, period. So it's like, how do you nutshell that? Like, but like crazy.
Just nutshell that, Clarissa. Come on.
Right, but so, like, in an attempt to do that, I would actually, invite us to actually engage in some questions that we will ask ourselves. So that, and these are yes or no questions, and then you'll totally get what harmonic astrology is. So the first question is, do you believe in other dimension? Period. Other dimensional reality. We're in 3D. Is there 5D, 11D? If you say yes to that, you're already getting harmonic astrology. And the second question is, do you believe that everything in the universe, not just human beings, not just animals on Earth, just everything in the universe is connected through one main source, that there's something that we're just all connected to? You say yes to that, then you get harmonic astrology. And the third question that I'd like to ask, invite us to play with, to engage with the subject is, do you believe in energy and more like focus that energy creates reality? And if you say yes to that, then you get what harmonic astrology is.
Oh,
So
cool. I had a resounding yes to all three questions. I don't know about all of you, but it was like, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so now tell us a little bit more about the astrology itself. So we have the regular interpretations of, like, what did you say? Uranus sextile Venus, or a solar eclipse in Aries, or the sun ingressing into Taurus. Is there a harmonic equivalent to all those kinds of transits?
yes. And so great question. So, like, all right. So, the natal chart that we all use, that harmonic astrologers start with two. Like, we're literally not reinventing the wheel, it's the same chart. So, we call the natal chart the first harmonic, and that's 3D world. And
Ah,
so, from the first harmonic, you can see the sky. So, you're interacting, like, it's literally your natal chart is you're on Earth looking at the sky, period. And so harmonics are instead of us looking out and observing up what these things are doing, like in 3D, the natal chart becomes a portal to infinity, period. Like it is the eternal. It sucks you in. There's like, they're the dimensions of reality that create 3D. How we access that is through aspect. End of story.
Oh my gosh, this is fascinating. So when people ask the question, and this has been a question that gets asked a lot, can I transcend my chart? Would the harmonic interpretation give you clues into the expression of your chart in another dimensional reality, for example, like how you can how you can pull in other aspects of yourself from other dimensions, but with your foundation of your natal chart as like how it's expressed in this realm. Does that question make sense?
It does. And again, like with the whole heart thing of joy, like I love that question. Like I'm so excited about answering that question. So let's talk about transcending the chart, like just from like, for example, I have a sun trine Mars natally, right? And that's literally without harmonics, that's literally all you're seeing, sun trine Mars. But in harmonic astrology, in the 11th harmonic, I'm actually Mars, Jupiter, Uranus. So yeah, it's like Sun trine Mars. I'm active, but what level of activity am I? I'm like insanely, I don't even know how I sleep. Right. So it's like it just adds like even more like it direct detail to maybe something that you may be, grappling with or inquiring about transcending.
Wow.
That makes
Oh, yes. Amazing. Okay, I could spend the rest of the time on this exploration, but I know we're here for the weekly weather. So there's probably some people going, hey, wait, like this is cool and all, but what's happening this week? Okay, so very helpful, like orientation though. So because as you're interpreting the transits, people may be coming with the more traditional interpretations and going, yeah, but I don't get these. Like, where is she landing with what she said in the beginning? Okay, so are you ready to go through the days now, or do you want to still stay at the higher level for the week?
we can go through the days.
Hey, Joji here. I'm Astrology Hub's podcast producer and an astrologer over at Astrologer Connect. And we'll be right back with the weather. But I just wanted to make sure that you knew about Astrologer Connect's Reading Bonanza Month. We're going to have all sorts of special events, but the biggest thing is that any reading booked in April. So even if you're having a reading all the way in December, as long as you book it this month, you are eligible for a 20% off by using the code April 20. And if you actually go right now, call for an instant reading, you actually get the first 10 minutes for free. Again, this is happening all throughout the month. And to claim your discount, all you have to do is just go to astrologyhub.com/connect and use the code April 20. All right, I'll see you soon.
It's funny when you said that the theme for the week is spectacular. I went, ooh, maybe we should have named this chart reading month the reading spectacular. Like it's just as big as the word bonanza. It's like spectacular bonanza. Okay, so let's break down the days and see how it all pans out.
Okay, perfect. And just so you know, I am like hyper nerd. So I have 6 pages of paper notes. And in front of I have 2 computers, one with my astrology software computer. So I'm actually gonna also be doing kind of a little bit of a live reading as we go through each of the days. So what I just want to break the week down just kind of like initially though into chunks. We've got Monday, Tuesday, which is a chunk. And then Wednesday through Friday is a whole nother chunk. And then when we get to Saturday, Sunday, like the weekend, that's the final chunk. So there are 3 like main pieces here. So the first 2 days, Monday the 17th and Tuesday, April 18th, we've got Uranus conjunct Sun, Venus midpoint. And we also have Venus, Jupiter, Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter, Pluto highlighted in certain harmonic. These are money days. So the first 2 days of the week, those are great days for very expansive business initiatives and really, taking it all the way with commerce. And so like, and let's highlight on Monday though. So Monday, this Uranus Sun Venus energy It's more like 9 harmonic octaves. Ninth harmonic is community and healing. And Sun, Uranus, Venus, like that energy is electrifying. So just alone without the harmonics, Venus Uranus typically translates to sex, music, dance, and energy healing. The type of beauty that we relate to Venus that moves. Uranus instantly, like electricity. So it kind of gets you moving. And then with the sun involved, that's like in your body. That's like, so it's exciting. So we're coming in exciting, but with the ninth harmonic octaves that are lit up by this direct midpoint structure, it speaks to how we connect with people. That's where the people are coming in, Amanda. You see people in all these harmonics and in these different aspects. So this is actually a great day. I think Monday, it's a great day. I know it's Monday and it's not Friday turn up, but it would be a great day to, do some type of sound therapy, energy healing, to connect with people, sexual healing, that kind of stuff. And so it's almost, and I gotta say, like Monday's already kind of disassociating because it feels good. It feels so good. It's like, is this even real? So we're already entering the week with that kind of energy. Then when we get to Tuesday, like just on a mundane level, like the whole world, we might see things go like up and down or something really significantly shift in financial markets. Because Jupiter Pluto is forming a conjunction in the 13th harmonic on Tuesday, April 18th. So this is interesting, right? Because Jupiter Pluto as a signature is, if you translate the energy, Jupiter is expansion and Pluto is compulsion. So compulsive expansion, what does that look like as energy? It just keeps growing. That's why typically like people who are powerful in business, they have this signature in their charts because it's like, boom, like, hey, there's no stop. Like, right? So, but in the 13th harmonic is, it's a trip, right? Because I call it the harmonic of gurus or gangsters. And it is that. So it's seeking singularity and seeking some type of specialness such that you don't conform. You don't conform to like the cookie cutter type of stuff. So when we have Jupiter, Pluto, like with markets like that, oftentimes like cults and stuff can come up in the 13th harmonic. So kind of like cult thinking, but also like gurus and gangsters, like straight up. If you look at, the top research subjects for this harmonic, they do fit, like they're straight up professional criminals and or leaders of some type of sex ideology. So that's something to kind of like think of. So another kind of little nuanced theme of this week is it's definitely nonconformist. Personally and mundane. Also 13th harmonic comes up and I don't want to be offensive at all. I'm not engaged in that, but it often comes up in actually like rogue parties. So rogue political parties, particularly in the United States context. And I'm not saying anybody out there is rogue at all. But actually 13th harmonic is aligned with the at this point in time, the Republican Party, not following rules. And actually even just old school Republicans, it's like, don't put all those rules on. That's 13th harmonic, doesn't follow rules. So
Clarissa, can I do a little like, well, I just want to ask a clarifying question.
yes.
Obviously you're looking at the chart for the week and the chart of the day.
Yeah.
And you're seeing this 13th harmonic like highlighted, right? And it's associated with these different things that you brought up: gurus, gangsters, nonconformity, rogueness in general. So if somebody can you look at someone's chart and say, you are strong in the 13th harmonic? And so you tend towards these things? Or is this more of like a global sort of mundane type of interpretation?
Well, what I'm doing right now is is actually a little bit of both, and thinking of it in terms of like a global mundane interpretation. But these tenets are also they could be applied to personal charts, but the energy acts different.
Okay.
But yes, yeah, but yes, you can say, like, if you were to get a reading with me, I'd know exactly what your highest harmonics are. That's what I'm trained to do. That's what, like, I find them.
Wow.
You can be a fifth harmonic, a 17, a 19.
Wow.
I discover those for you.
And do you normally have a dominant harmonic and then like some other subdominant harmonics? Or are some people really evenly distributed between several different harmonics? Or how does that work?
Who said you're giving me chills? All of the above, Amanda. So you can see typically how I would calculate is like there are top 5 harmonics or the top 10 harmonics. If you have, like, let's say your top harmonic is 49th harmonic, it's 7 times 7. And then you also, in that top 10, you're also a 35. And then also you're a 21. That means that you're dominant 7 octave. You're a
Mm.
dominant 7 person, even with all the other stuff. And then you have people who are like a pamphlet, all different kinds of numbers. And then you have the other people, like, the first example where main numbers repeat. And that's kind of like more, and you can see it in them too.
Amazing. I mean, this is where it's like sometimes I feel like one of the things we're doing is seeing the code of the universe, like seeing like the underlying math of how all this works, which is just such a trip, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no words to respond to that because exactly, it's divine mathematics, and that's why the quantum physics alignment, it's crazy. Everything, whatever new discovery in quantum physics, I'm always like, what? Like, it's mind blowing, and it
Right.
feels like what you just said.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. I digress again. All right. So we're on. We've been doing the Monday, Tuesday little cohort of energies.
Yes. Okay. So to wrap up, or not wrap up, or to add, I'm trying to be succinct here because obviously Wednesday through Friday is like, whoa, right? So Monday, Tuesday is just exquisite vibe days, live it up type of days. Really, like, it's not, these energies are not Saturn Pluto, which is kind of, or something like that, which is like restrictive. Monday, Tuesday is splash it out, live it up. Another thing that we're likely to see today, particularly on Tuesday, because we have like a lot of lunar south node activity in the fifth harmonic on Tuesday. And let me read you what that is. So according to my research, just so we're all on the same page, the fifth harmonic lunar south node is a funnel for communal invention and expression, or in other words, somebody else's lucky charm, period. So this is another thing where, on Tuesday, the whole like people thing, people are just lucky for you. Like it's the type. So really Monday, Tuesday, I'd be out and about, and actually the whole week I'd be out and about, like, period. And the soulmate thing that we were talking about, let me read you some of my notes. It was not too boring for me to read, but like literally when I was interpreting this harmonic, the start of romance. That's another theme of this week as well. So the start of romance, meeting lots of lucky people today, all caps. On a macro level, it's a great day for art, beauty, writing, literature. So it's like another way to rephrase. So the fifth harmonic is creative free flow. It's where you're in the zone. It's where things like are flowing, etc. And when we think about creative free flow, I think you throw the word creative in and it's automatically art or whatever. Einstein had a huge fifth harmonic, and you can see his thought experiment in the fifth harmonic because it's like Mercury, Moon, Mercury, Jupiter, Neptune. Like, he created a lot of, or got inspired through thinking about human interaction, not going to be, and human psychology and sociology, Moon, Mercury, Jupiter in his fifth harmonic. So the creative free flow is just invention in general. Another theme. So we're inventing, on Tuesday. That's why I love Monday, Tuesday. There's so many things to love about it. Exciting. And also reorienting so Tuesday's going to be a big day in terms of reorienting consciousness around who you thought people were for you, what you thought people were capable of, etc., but in a refreshing way, most likely. Because again, like these energies, we're not dealing with Saturn, Uranus, Pluto every day. Like this week, that would be a harsh week. This is like, I'm so happy to be joie de vivre week, period. Ooh. Okay.
Clarissa, you just
So,
seem
yeah.
like a joie de vivre person in general. It's like it seems like every week must be like that for you. Is that true? Am I interpreting this correctly?
Baby, yeah, because I'm actually speak about harmonic astrology. I'm a Uranus, a Mars, Jupiter, Uranus person, and Jupiter, Uranus is enthusiasm. That's like the
Yeah.
most strong thing in my whole chart. So that's probably that. Yeah.
That's coming through strong. Yes, I love it. Okay. Great. All right. So let's go to Wednesday.
Yes, please. Okay, so Wednesday, we've got the solar eclipse, right? So let's just talk about like astronomy or astrology in general. I think every single astrologer, no matter what system or tradition that we're coming from, we can all agree that eclipses are huge, like in terms of what they do. From like a harmonic astrologer's perspective, it's just like a crazy release of energy because we have three different things in play. We've got the luminaries, which are two things: the sun, the moon. Those are the luminaries. And then we've got the lunar nodes on eclipses. So we have like lunations every 2 weeks, full moon, which is going to be sun moon opposition. And then we've also got the new moon when the sun and the moon are conjunct. The distinction with eclipse is that the lunar nodes are always involved in eclipses. And so, like, what does that even mean? So, like, lunar nodes are placed at basically the point where the path of the sun and the path of the moon meet. And so the lunar nodes are like funnels for energy that go directly to Earth in terms of manifestation. So that's why eclipses are so powerful. And I also think like in terms of Wednesday and, why it's such a pivotal week and why eclipses are so important, etc. There's a few things to consider. Normal lunations, every single one only lasts 2 weeks, period. Eclipses last 6 months each, period. Like 6 months of energy. And also thinking about, and this is something that I invite you guys, everybody who's listening in to just like, let's just like think a little bit on this, right? Like in terms of what the luminaries are and what these points are that we're talking about, like with the solar eclipse, like would anything exist without the sun? And no. So it's like, it's not just like kind of metaphorical, like the sun as in like it's the soul, like it is that, but it's also existence in manifest flesh, like being, the ability to have a body, the ability to, touch and things. How the moon like comes into this whole situation is like, if we did not have like a moon, which is a satellite for the sun, right? Because it reflects the light of the moon onto us. If there was not a moon, basically like the things in the flesh, you and I, squirrels, whatever, like we would have no personalities. Like we would not be substantive because the moon gives us all of our history, not just personal history, but even like genetic history, the history of my ancestors that make me everything, right? So it's substantive. Now add the lunar node, and the lunar node is not just sun and moon, but it's Earth too. So the lunar nodes, like it's like three, that's why eclipses are so strong. 3 points of physical manifestation. So when we're talking about like whole worlds transforming this week, I'm talking about daily world. I'm talking about waking up. Your routine is different. You're different. And I think with the luminaries, there's something like profound banality because when I get up and walk my dogs every morning, I'm not thinking, wow, it's so profound to be in a human body. And I can blah, blah, blah. I'm just like doing my thing. So what these eclipses are ushering in is like the total transformation of doing your thing. And here's how to track it. The last Libra eclipse cycle began 10 years ago. So the last one was literally, it started in 2013. And so when we get to Wednesday, we are at the start of a new 10-year decade and also the culmination of it. So let me give you, before we get into the harmonics and kind of keep moving on with the day-to-day, let me give you something that happened in 2013 for me with these eclipse cycles. That was the year I met my husband. That was the year I started practicing for clients, that I started reading for people, that I started charging people. I also moved that year, and that was the first year that I ever received any form of spiritual healing, but particularly shamanic healing, and I got called to the path. Now, and this is relevant for all of us. At this point, and this is also in the astrology, at this point, all of us are going to be very clear and present to our culmination cycle and our new beginning of things that started 10 years ago. And so, for example, like 10 years, so let's say this is such a trip. I just started my practice in 2013. 10 years later, I'm president of ISAR. I'm talking to Amanda and you guys on Astrology Hub. That's huge. We're at pinnacle. And now it's a new cycle, like on top of that. And this goes for everybody. The thing about this situation is that a lot of us, thank God, or goddess, thank goodness, that a lot of the general energy and the harmonics and with the planets are hype this week. Hype as in delightful, hype as in exquisite, hype as in we are able to delight in being alive versus an eclipse where it's like, oh my God, it's the culmination point and everything sucks. It's not that type of eclipse. That's why let me just pause. How is this? Is this landing? Is this all good? What's going on here?
Clarissa, as you're having us reflect on 2013 and you're telling us about your 2013, I was doing the same thing. So I also moved that year. The divorce that initiated the divorce and breakdown of my life that initiated my interest in astrology started that year. The man that I started Astrology Hub with, who was my partner for the first, 4 years of Astrology Hub, I met him that year and we started working on some other projects. I mean, this is absolutely a culminating moment of a theme that was, or a storyline that was completely happening for me in 2013. But I would say that now the energy of it, especially with our, whoa, oh, wow, sorry. The reading platform, like having our reading bonanza for the platform that I dreamt about from the very beginning of like, this is the place where people have their first experience of astrology that blows them away. And then it's like, how could you question astrology anymore after you've had a reading from an amazing astrologer, right? So having that come to fruition right now with our reading bonanza month, I mean, all of it together, I'm like, wow, I love how amazing astrology is and how it blows our minds over and over and over. But yes, so I'm resonating completely, but I like what you say about the energy of this particular eclipse being in that hype or delightful, exquisite sort of place. Because one of the questions that I noted earlier that I haven't asked you yet is if an eclipse is a portal of where like energy can stream through, why the usual orientation of fear around it? Like, why is it just something that like eclipse, fear, eclipse. Oh no. There's a lot of that happens. Why do you think that is? And is it because, yeah, anyways, why do you think that is? I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I think there's obvious like cultural and historical precedent for that. But I also think, because the eclipses change things, they change the way that your life works. And
Yeah.
that's fearful in some ways.
We fear what we don't know.
We fear, and we don't want to change.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, but you're saying do not fear. This eclipse in particular has so much like yummy kind of energy around it. The changes that we're going to be initiating or experiencing are going to be more on the positive spectrum than, well, but see, you could look at that thing that I was going through in 2013. At the time, it did not feel positive, but it resulted in so many positive things that that's also sort of hard to do, right? Make that judgment call of like, is the change positive or is the change negative? Right?
Yeah, but this is such a trip, Amanda, because as I was, delineating and creating this forecast, literally I could verbatim just take what you just said. Like that's what I was reflecting on. It's like at the time, it could have seemed like it was like the worst thing ever, but with a little bit of hindsight, it actually ended up being like the biggest gift. And it is that now this is a gift. This is the gift eclipse where you see the gifts of stuff like that. Um, so yeah.
Mm, I love it. Okay, great. Anything else you want to say about Wednesday?
Yes, and about Wednesday, I think that there is, I think willpower is like a big kind of theme of the eclipse. Also, let's talk about things that are like not really that good about this because we've been talking about the high vibes, which we can carry and we can just hang on to the high vibes, period, because they are more dominant. But there are other things going on, and we can also segue into because this is now like the chunk. Like this is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? So now let's get a kind of more chunk of this portion of the week. So we have this high vibe, which I invite you to delight in and grab on and relish and just stay there. Wow, this other seventh harmonic type of stuff. Seventh harmonic is focused discipline. It's straight up serious. It's internal as well. So it's kind of like a little more personal. We've got things going on in the harmonic that actually really highlight selfishness. And it's not, it could be somebody else that's selfish. You've been selfish. Everybody's been selfish or whatever, but that's a theme. There's likely to be, in this transitional state, also some type of resentment for those who harmed you or for those who ostracized you or just feeling a little sensitive, perhaps a little butthurt about that. Like there's some way that you were ostracized and made to feel inferior. And this is likely to come up this week in a mundane level. Ostracized people who were harmed and probably aggressively harmed are likely to have more of a voice this week as well. So we're kind of like dealing with that internally. And this kind of speaks to the Mercury retrograde on Thursday, the 21st. So Mercury is going to be retrograde in Taurus from the 21st. So I'm speaking in Pacific time, the 21st of April through the 14th of May. So and this is now we're getting into a polarity of energy because the Mercury retrograde is not like the eclipse, not like the other aspects we were talking about, which is like, heck yeah, like we living out here. Like the Mercury retrograde introduces deep internal introspection, particularly on how you have always been or have been for so long in a significant relationship. So another way to put it is like, so 10 years, and it could even be like a 10-year cycle like that. Like, so you've been in a business partnership for 10 years, or you've been with somebody for 10 years and things just kind of settled in and that was just how they were going to be. You know what I mean? Like it became like habitual routine. This week, this Mercury retrograde has you transition that because your reality, like the solar eclipse changes reality, period. And then the Mercury retrograde has you thinking, dang, like actually I no longer can and or want to operate from that. And it's almost like you catch up. You're like catching up to your reality. That's why it's like in this week, vibe high, go in on the exquisite and delight because you're unlikely to like really process all that internal stuff until Mercury goes direct in May anyway. So you might as well have some fun. Like,
If you find yourself in a position where you are rethinking a way that you've been in a significant relationship for the past 10 years, can you trust that the changes that may result from this introspection will be more aligned in the end? You know, whatever like conclusions you might come to, where I'm no longer willing to be like this, I'm no longer willing to play this role in this relationship, whatever you're coming up with, that's really the best, and everyone will benefit from it if you trust what you're sensing about the way you want to move forward. That's a question mark at the end of that.
oh my God, Amanda, it's just like a level of just like how in tune, like your questions are with the analysis in our hearts, like, and probably everybody out there is just mind blowing to me because, like, the actual analysis, if you were, so I mentioned the seventh harmonic earlier, and in this Mercury retrograde transit, particularly on Thursday, but this lasts for the whole transit because it's when the Mercury, retrograde station. So can you trust yourself? Absolutely. So, and sometimes you can't. Like there are periods where it's like, nah, like don't trust that, or that would be the advice. But this is so, and I'm going to read from my notes again. What a fortunate week because even with all this breakthrough energy, there's a through line. You're spiritually adept. You have a direct line to divinity. So part of the astrology around that, the sun is making an aspect to Uranus Neptune in the seventh harmonic. Whenever I see Sun Uranus Neptune or Uranus Neptune in the seventh harmonic, particularly for clients, their intuition is bang on every time. They just know. So this is for the collective. Like you just know. And so other things are going to be happening because we've also got Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune in the 11th harmonic in this chunk period that's coming through. And so what that means is like, no, right? And then you're also like super carnal. And we're like, in my case, I'm probably going to be eating like a bucket of donuts every day. Like, please, like, get me away from the donuts. Not this week. Like, it's going to be reality. But like, so we have that like super carnal pleasure. But we do have this ability to just know, like, Uranus, Neptune in the seventh harmonic. A lot of shamanic people have that. I have that. I wouldn't be surprised if you do as well. Most of my clients actually do have or some version of that. And that's just knowing at all times. And even because your mind can try to convince you otherwise, but you still know with Uranus, Neptune.
Fascinating. Okay. So we have changes in relationships. Trust those. Trust your intuitive hits about how you want to proceed. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know about all of you, but I am so excited to have a harmonic reading with Clarissa. I actually haven't had a harmonic chart reading yet. I've learned so much about harmonic astrology through David Cochran and Rick Levine and Clarissa, but I've never had a harmonic astrologer like sit down and read my chart. So this is going to be what I will book during our Bonanza month will be with you.
Ah.
Super fun. Okay, so let's go to the next thing.
Okay, so the next thing, I think so what I want to caution us about, so this is like a cautionary kind of piece of this week. Like what we're going to be dealing with is actually almost like the totality of the future. Like we're just seeing everything. So when we were talking earlier, Amanda, about, things that happened 10 years ago, and it was like at the time we didn't really get why it was happening and it seemed like that, but it was actually, the tragedy was the best gift that you can possibly have. This is a different type of week because we are actually, we don't have to look in retrospect. We actually see how everything is coming together now. So the caution is to not be overwhelmed by that, and to our earlier conversation, to actually trust it. Like that's going to be the mind screw a little bit. It's like, oh, is this for real? That's really, if we're talking about mantra of the week, is this for real? Like,
Well,
it's like, yeah,
what's the answer? Is it for real?
it is for real.
Wow. Okay. Because sometimes it's like, no, it is too good to be true, and don't get carried away. But you're saying not this week. It is actually, we are actually getting a glimpse into what is all coming together, and we can believe it.
Exactly, Amanda, exactly.
Wow. This is really exciting.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for the world with that. And so we're probably going to have like breakthrough stuff, things that we didn't understand, that we didn't even think society would come to yet. On like a macro level, that's another thing that's like exciting about this. We didn't think society would evolve or progress on that level. That boom just happens and then it changes the whole game for all of us as
Wow.
well.
Wow. Okay. Wow. You're not holding back at all. There's time. So I interview lots of astrologers, and we've ridden lots of waves together. And there are periods of time where the astrologers will be so strong about their interpretation, where it's just like, it is clear, this is what's happening. I would have to say this period of time we're in is one of those times where the astrologers would look ahead at this period of time that we're living in right now. And it was like, there's going to be massive change. There's going to be massive shifts, and lots of futuristic things, and, all kinds of things. And I know the eclipses were a big part of that. And this particular week was a big part of that read. So it's amazing to be here. It's amazing to be here experiencing the energy.
Yeah, totally. And thank you for that too, because we're now kind of like a few weeks away from that pivotal shift that a lot of astrologers have been talking about in March, where, we had Saturn ingress into Pisces, but bigger news, Pluto go into Aquarius as like a generational shift,
Mm.
for like 20 years of us as society. And then I don't know about you, I'm a Gemini rising. Mars and Gemini, I was like on the threshold of like total lunacy until like right before it went into Cancer. I was like, oh my God, thank God.
Yes.
So like, so to your point, Amanda, that's exactly. So now we're at this week where all that stuff that has been building up forever is now real. And
Mm.
it's now like we are here. And fortunately, it's exciting.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. Okay.
Okay, so now let's wrap it up. So we've got Saturday and Sunday, and Saturday and Sunday are just like totally chill in comparison. In terms of like, major energies. There's now like Saturday and Sunday on a personal level, I would just kind of chill, get out in nature. We've got Jupiter, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn. Venus, Jupiter is just like straight up nature, like flowers, the wind, bark, trees, etc. And so really Saturday and Sunday, the weekend is like reorientation time where it's actually things like come together naturally. So it's actually like a huge gift from this like crazy, 3 day of like, wow, it's real. It's from the weekend, we're already settling into it. That's why another reason why this week is so awesome, because it's really not that, but as we're settling, that's where the resentment could come in. That's where it's like, okay, well, then why did I allow this person to treat me like that for so long? Like because there's a vehemence to that as well in the harmonics of these days. So as things are coming together, things are also rippling up and bubbling up as well. So it's really kind of, they're like integration days. But I want to say, like, this whole theme about people and interrelationships, actually common ground is possible the whole week, period. So, it's like, and also I gotta say, and this may go without saying to some people, but there are likely to be, so we're going to have like this influx of amazing people come your way, soulmate status, etc. But we also might have a curtailing where some relationships aren't really over this week. And so really, Saturday and Sunday, we get to kind of like really process that and all the like residual emotions having to do with. And also another thing, it's like this is a very much a week of kind of like reaping what you sow in a lot of ways. Um, so in the case of like, let's talk about our 2013, me and Amanda, right? Like, and a lot of stuff isn't necessarily linear. Like you do this and it comes out like that, right? But like in the process of the past 10 years, I'm sure me and Amanda been working really hard, right? And so now we're at this point where, Amanda's case, the dream that she had, it probably wasn't even maybe fleshed out. It's like, I would love to host something like Astrologer Connect, not even having the word for it. Like, I'd love for this to exist. It's now in existence. Like, it's now happening. It's like reaping what you sow. And so let's do like another case. Like, let's say despite all best efforts, you have a relationship like with any type of partner, business, intimate, and all best efforts. Like, even if you both really tried hard, literally the reaping or this, you guys have been arguing the whole time. None of the best efforts have helped. So now we're sowing that it's the conclusion now because you can't really do anything there. So it's kind of like you on the weekend we're integrating all that and really kind of getting like, yeah, but thank God we have the freedom and the burden, if you will, of actually getting, now we, instead of having to ruminate as to why that happened, actually we have access to why this week. Like we already know. Yeah. And we're like actually in a thank goodness that happened situation.
Yeah. Well, and it seems important to just continually remember that when you're saying goodbye to something or when you're saying no to something, that you are really opening up space for something totally new to come in. And one thing that I have learned and continue to remind myself is that the other person doesn't need to be wrong or bad in order for it to be time for you both to move on. Like, I think we tend towards wanting to, make the other person wrong in the situation or come up with a story of why. And sometimes it's really just like, the energy is done. It's time to move on and we can bless what was and love the person still and move on. It's like it can all happen simultaneously instead of needing to like blow it up and end with any sort of resentment and end with any of that, which I know sometimes it's unavoidable, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I think that it's important to remember that endings can be peaceful. They can be mutually beneficial. We can bless each other as we move on, and we can know that it's going to be the best case scenario for both of us. For everyone, it's a good change, And I don't even know who I'm
Absolutely.
speaking to right now. Like, I feel like there's probably some people that need to hear that because it can be an easy thing to forget in the pain of letting something go.
Well, I felt that, Amanda. Goodness. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome, Clarissa. Maybe it was you. Maybe I said that for you. Okay. Anything else about the week that we need to keep in mind? Not that that wasn't enough, because that was amazing and so much incredible information.
Well, I think, the idea of to kind of similar to what you were just sharing, I would say, like there is a sense of victoriousness. And this is poignant, actually, for like of really triumphing, right? In that thing that started 10 years ago. And like really actually like embracing that and processing, I think is like this is the demonstration, especially with the square Pluto this week. It's an acknowledgement of personal strength. It's an acknowledgement of, actually having made it here, period. And so I guess we can just like end with that.
Mm, I love it. I love it. It's like the victory, the triumph of just being alive and riding all these different waves and growing and getting stronger and getting clearer and getting more who you are through that whole process. It's beautiful. Okay, I love it. So Clarissa, just real briefly to go back to the intro, this is a spectacular week. This is a time of passion, dreams coming true on a big level, relationship dynamics that are transformational, new people, old people, deep core transformation in relationships. This is a time of non-conformity. So, like, not having to go along with everything the way that it's always been and being open-minded to new ways of going forward. I mean, I know if I'm reflecting back on the 10-year ago thing, for me, that even the thought of divorce was just so not okay in my mind at the time. I was supposed to get married and be married forever. My parents have been married for over 50 years. That's what I was supposed to do. So it was a very non-conformist time for me personally, like in my own lineage, my own upbringing. It was like, oh, wow, I'm like really breaking free and doing something very different than anyone in my family. And that feels scary. But it also means I get to write my own script. Like there's something new about this, which can be very exciting. You also said that could be a time for people to start romance. This is a time where there could be romance in the air. I know for some of you, that's great news. What if you're already in a relationship? What would you say about the energy of that?
I think it would just be super exciting. Like you guys just met and it's like hot stuff with that.
Okay. All right. So like a reinvigoration.
Yes.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. And and we have these different waves we're riding throughout the week. The first couple days are just seem amazing and delightful and spectacular. We have those 3 days in the middle, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where we have this intense eclipse energy, this culminating energy, uh, just lots of different things happening then. And you said at that time, people that have been ostracized will also feel like they have a voice, that they'll, have a little bit of redemption maybe in that. And the cautionary piece for the energy Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is to not give into feeling overwhelmed. That like there's a lot of new things coming in. You can trust that. You don't need to allow yourself to get super overwhelmed by it. Just kind of open up. The way I'm imagining that is like open up to more. Like you can hold it. It wouldn't be coming in if you can't hold it. So there's more coming your way. And then Saturday and Sunday, it's kind of chill. This is like, sounds like an integration weekend. We've had a huge week. So we'll have some time. I love the way the cosmos does this. It's like not intense all the time. We have these like ups and downs, just like the tides in the ocean. High tide, low tide. Yeah. Clarissa, this has been so much fun. I am sure many people are inspired to book a reading with you. Keep in mind during our reading bonanza month that you can book as many readings as you want at that 20% discount. So you could book like 2, 3, 4 readings for the future, but book them now so you can take advantage of that discount that we're doing for the official grand opening of Astrologer Connect. So highly encourage you to go check that out at astrologyhub.com/connect. You can go directly to Clarissa and book with Clarissa directly at astrologyhub.com/Clarissa Connect. And that's CLARISSA Connect. And the discount code for those of you who just want to know what it is April 20. So April in all caps and then the number 20. This has been so much fun, Clarissa. I can't wait to have you back on the Astrology Hub podcast. Thank you for being such an incredible astrologer, for committing your life to this study, and especially the harmonic angle of it. Because, like you said, there are certain things that are sort of the future of astrology. And I feel more and more of those are coming in. And harmonic astrology is absolutely one of those things. So I love having the opportunity to explore it, to expose it to the people in our community who are ready for it and like wanting it. And I'm grateful for you as a conduit of that, because I know that you've dedicated so much of your time and energy to really mastering it. So it's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. It's just totally my honor.
All right. And thanks to all of you for being a part of our community, for making astrology a part of your life. I cannot wait to connect with you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.